Hello, this is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments now so that I can answer them. Today, I am just focusing on your questions. So start putting those questions in the comments, and I'm going to start answering right away. While your questions are coming in, let me tell you how to get in touch with me if you'd like to go ahead and explore your options individually. The reason why you need to explore your options individually is because the information here is not personalized legal advice, it's general information. And so that means that if you would like to discuss your options to go forward, you should definitely schedule. Go to the link in the profile and it will tell you how to get in touch. There's a website, there's a link to even schedule your own appointment without even calling. Now, even if you want assistance, you can call the office and they will be more than happy to assist you here. Now, I am just waiting on your questions and I see them coming already. So let's jump straight into the questions because I don't want to waste any more time. All right, so let me go to the top and scroll through. Hi there, French Blue. Yes, it has been a long time. And, busy means I hope that busy is a good busy. I got married. What are the fees for the forms? So right now, if it just depends. If you're applying for the green card through consular processing, that means you're outside of the United States and you're going to be doing this at the embassy. You're going to pay for the I-130 to start with. Your US citizen spouse is going to do that part, and that is 535 right now. Now, if you're here in the US, you're doing adjustment of status. That's mean you're staying here and applying for the marriage-based green card while you're in the United States. You're going to apply for everything at one time. You're going to apply for your adjustment of status, your work permit, your travel document, and the petition. So right now, that could change in the future. This is where it's very important to make sure you are represented or that you independently verify these fees. But you're going to pay $1,760 total if you're 14 years or older. So in general, those are the fees that you can expect. Can my husband petition for me if he's not working? Absolutely. Even though he's not working, though, how is he making his income? Because that's going to be very important to immigration. If he can't show that he's making an income, then you will need to get a joint sponsor to help you to show the income part to complete the affidavit of support, because they will not approve the green card without a valid affidavit of support for this type of application. How long does an asylum application take to be processed and what documents are needed for that? Asylum right now is taking very long. So we've seen it range from 3 to 8 years. So yes, they're going up to 8 years. While that time is pending, though, the people are able to still get their work permit and their social security number. And even though it is frustrating for it to be that long, because people just want their cases to be heard, they want to be able to get a decision so they can finally move forward with their lives. But in the meantime, you do get a work permit and social to carry you through that time. If I'm married to a US citizen and we have been separated for 8 years, what are my chances to get an H-2B visa? So it's hard to say here. It just depends on what kind of documentation you're submitting and what the impression of that documentation on your ability to show you have non-immigrant intent. That means um, you have a temporary intent to come to the United States to work temporarily. I filed for VAWA, wasn't yet approved. My child turned 21. Will that make it difficult to file the I-130? So your child will not, if I'm not sure what's going on there. This is where it's very important to get legal advice, because the I-130 is different from the I-360. Now, if your child was under the age of 21 at the time that you filed the VAWA, your child should have been included in your VAWA petition. That means that when it is approved, they will go ahead and consider your child for VAWA deferred action if they're here in the U.S. If they're outside of the U.S., you can still move forward if there's a certain statute that applies. So the child protection status, um, CPSA. I would have to look at it to see what it is, but it's a type of rule that's in place where you calculate the age of the child and whether their age can be frozen in time for immigration purposes. So here, so that does apply in some cases, but I'd have to know more to determine whether what whether the child would be under 21 for immigration purposes still. Now, if you say for some reason or the other your child wasn't included or they don't qualify, they no longer qualify, then it becomes more difficult for the I-130 process. So after you get the green card, you file the I-130 for your child to get the green card. It does take long. So it would then take them 5 to 7 years. So as you can see, this is why I say definitely schedule an appointment so we can talk more about the facts here. So what are your charges to complete the form with you? So this is where it's very important to understand that I'm not a form filler. I'm an attorney and I do represent my clients through the entire process. So you should never look at this process as filling out forms, because that is usually the beginning of a very painful mistake written application process that's probably going to be delayed, rejected, or denied because you looked at it as just filling out forms. When I'm representing my clients, a part of it is to make sure we're preparing accurate, complete documentation, but a lot of it also means providing the right evidence and the right required documents in order for this process to be successful, and then addressing the law that's involved in helping my clients to get approved. So I don't, if you hire me, you're hiring me to represent you through the immigration process. You're not hiring me to fill out forms. So in order to determine what my fees are, you can definitely schedule an appointment. I have to evaluate your case first, and then I can give you a quote sheet. And that quote sheet will have everything on there. We do offer payment plans, so you'll be able to see all of that there. But I go all the way with my clients, and so it's not just about filling out the forms. How long does it take to get the I-130 approval if it's been in review 5 months now? So I'd say usually I-130, 9 months total to a little over 12 months. But keep in mind, this is just an estimate. It does not mean that will happen in your case. Good day. My brother-in-law is here and doesn't have anything, so he should definitely schedule an appointment. Let's talk to your brother-in-law and let's see if he does have an option. How long after I file the I-485 it takes for a response? I would say about 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks during a busy time. Can a family member file for rather than your parents? No. So not it depends on the family member. If your family member is a U.S. So if your family member, if you're thinking about a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, cousins, they cannot file those papers for you. Siblings, U.S. citizen siblings who are age 21 and older can, but it does take at minimum 14 years for that process to go through. In what way can he get his paperwork without marriage? Okay, so this is the same your same brother-in-law, he needs to schedule an appointment because there's no way to tell unless I have a conversation with him. My friend overstayed her visa, but she is married in her home country. Can she gain status? So I have assisted clients who are married and who have been here to get status. But that is based on with the consultation and finding out if they qualify for certain benefits. So this is where it's very important for her to schedule an appointment because there's no way to say exactly what she qualifies for without determining what her circumstances are, and whether one of those options, one of the very specific options I look at, can help her to get back the status. So, by all means, make sure you schedule that appointment. How much is the I-485? I-485, so it's 1225. So, and that includes a biometrics fee. 750 for a child who's under 14 who's also applying with the parent. If asylum seekers get approved for work permit, that maybe, is it an indication of approval? No, it's not. My spouse is doing a visitor's visa. I'm a US citizen and he's from Nicaragua. He is coming to visit me and I've been visiting Nicaragua. What are his chances to getting the visitor's visa? Ah, it's hard to say. They're going to, the most important thing you have to do is make sure that your spouse brings evidence to show that they have a strong connection to their home country. If they cannot show that, they will not be approved. Strong connection means you have family members, you have property, you have a job, you have solid financial support in Nicaragua. um, those, you have children, possible children in Nicaragua. That is what's going to determine whether the officer grants that visitor's visa. Okay, so the consultation is $150. So you can go to the link in the profile, schedule, and they'll go ahead and call you to confirm. My VAWA got approved April 2021. Can I apply for citizenship? When is the earliest I can apply? So if you apply for VAWA, it got approved. The next step is to get the green card. You can't apply for citizenship until you get the green card. If your VAWA green card was approved, then 3 years from the date that you got the green card, you can apply for citizenship as long as the spouse was a US citizen. The same sex marriage, people receive the same rights as opposite sex marriage. So here in the US, yes. And in regards to immigration, yes. You're welcome, French Blue. All right, so I'm moving along. Put your questions in the comments. So I see a ton of questions on TikTok. So let me just go through to make sure I can cover it. And then YouTube, I'm coming your way next. I submitted my RFE in August, got my work permit December, and have not gotten an update. So just because you got the work permit does not mean that it's going to be moving, it's going to speed the process along. I don't know what kind of case you filed or what's going on, but sometimes it does take time. If someone overstayed on their US visa by 1 year, what's best for that individual? The best thing they can do is determine what relief or benefit they qualify for. Do not sit on it because there may be something that can help you to fix that situation. Also, understand this, that you then have to make a decision. Do you want to stay here in the US and have a future here? You need to explore that option. And that's where the attorney is going to be very important. But also know that there is a consequence at that point for leaving. If you do leave the United States, you're going to be barred from ever getting any immigration benefits at a minimum for 10 years. But keep in mind that they will not even look and say, oh, 10 years have passed, you get back your visitor's visa. You probably will not get your visitor's visa back just based on the overstay. So you have to just understand the consequences here and, evaluate what your options are to stay here. What about if you overstayed your visitor's B1 visa and got a baby born here? It sounds outrageous to some people, but having a baby here is not going to get you status. What does get people their status here is when they have a child who's age 21 or older, and that child is a US citizen. That adult son or daughter can now sponsor their parent. So even if you have a baby here, you're going to have to wait 21 years for that baby to turn into an adult and be able to sponsor you. So it's keep that in mind. Having a baby is not going to get you your status here. What happens when the time given to you by USCIS for processing expires? So you really just you would have to go ahead and put another request in. There really, when it comes to that, there are some tools that you can use, but it depends on how long they're taking to get this process and give them a little nudge through a case inquiry. But sometimes people have to take even greater, more drastic steps if the process is taking too long. Um, what about if you overstayed your visitor's visa? Okay, I answered that. I'm struggling with searching for good jobs. So I'm sorry about that. I-130 June 2022 and nothing yet. Is it normal? Um, so it depends on who has petitioned for you. Sometimes it is normal to get the approval over 2 years. If your process is going to be 5 to 7 years, it's going to be longer to get the approval. How long does it take to get asylum interview? So right now, it can take anywhere from 3 to 8 years. What about if you overstayed? So I answered that. I am a STEM OPT currently, and my mom's green card has also filed for me under F2B. Can I file for AOS? This get legal advice. You may be able to. However, there are a lot of factors here involved. Do you qualify as a derivative? Have you aged out of the process? If you have, then that won't be possible. Also, is your priority date current to allow you to do the adjustment of status? So, get legal advice. Does contacting your senator help your case? If it's stuck, sometimes, yes, it does help. In some cases, how do you get back your original documents from the U.S. Embassy? So, usually, it depends on. Usually, you give them a copy, you keep your originals. If they end up keeping it, then you have to just send them an individual email to see if you can get it back. But there are no guarantees there. What about if you overstayed? So I applied for U visa, biometrics done around a year ago, still waiting. So people are waiting 1.5 to 2 years to still get the work permit and deferred action. Is it possible for a green card holder to petition for his wife and kids below 18? Yes, absolutely. It is, but here's the issue that's going on with it now. Just recently, they have, unfortunately, they have the wait list back in place for spouses and children under 21, by the way, not under 18. for immigration purposes, a child can be under 21. You should never mix that up, because some people, for example, some people go to petition for their kids, and then when their kids turn 18, they're like, oh, too late. When in truth and fact, they can petition for their children until their child is 21. And what happens is that the child sits there and nothing happens because they think they already aged out, and you lose an opportunity. So, but yes, now there is a wait list for spouses and children under 21 of permanent residence. It's not as long as others, but I anticipate that it's going to at least add 6 months to a year onto the process to before you can file for adjustment of status. Is the I-130 form qualified for the premium if a U.S. citizen father sponsored unmarried? No. So premium processing is for employment based. Hopefully in the future they can do something like that for family based. But for now, it is based on employment processes. How do you go about a divorce? So I'm not a divorce attorney. Find a divorce attorney. What's the time on the bona fide work permit through U visa application? About a year and a half to 2 years. And the bona fide work permit, so this is where you're applying for the U visa. Normally the U visa is taking about 7 to 10 years. But what they're doing now is to help those out who are waiting for those 7 to 10 years to pass, is they look at your application and then they determine whether everything looks good, if whether your application, you've submitted everything that needs to be submitted and you've completed a background check. If you have, they will issue a bona fide determination letter that then will also allow you to get your work permit. And the work permit, so my client just got one of those, and the work permit is for 4 years for that one. So every 4 years, she just has to renew it until they can grant her the U visa. By any chance, do you know the current processing time for the I-131 advanced parole? So it's going over a year, so anywhere from 8 months to a year. Good morning. My husband did the interview. I have a green card. Why is he waiting on the visa bulletin? So I would want to understand that too. Usually they do not do the interview until you're at the top of that wait list based on the visa bulletin. So um, this is where I'm not understanding what you're saying, and you need to make sure you get legal advice. Can a green card holder petition for his wife and kids? So I answered that. If I overstay on H-2B visa, does it affect my filing? It can, and it can seriously hinder your filing. If you're married to a U.S. citizen, then they will overlook the overstay. However, if it's U.S., so if you overstay and you're being petitioned by a spouse, a parent if you're under 21, or by an adult U.S. citizen, son or daughter, age 21 or older, then they do give you a pass there. Any other categories, overstaying your H-2B can seriously hinder your ability to get the green card. I filed a withdrawal of my I-751 for my ex-husband. Do immigration officers call you to follow up? So I here I don't know what's going on here, but you should never be doing something on behalf of your spouse. Should be doing that. So I have no idea what's going on there. What are the chances an employer sponsors me for a green card? Currently a doctor in my residency. So it just depends on the employer. It's on a case by case basis. If the employer is really invested in your future and your uh, uh, ability to stay with them as an employee, then they'll make that decision to invest. But it just depends on the employer. There's no way I would be able to predict that. If you have a failure to appear for a traffic ticket, can affect you when you're doing your biometrics. So it's going to show up on your background check, and you're going to want to make sure you resolve that situation, because something that's so simple can then turn into something really complicated. So you want to fix that. And whether that failure to appear for a traffic ticket is going to affect you further is going to be based on what are the charges associated with the failure to appear for a traffic ticket, what are the consequences of it, and so forth. So make sure you get an attorney to help you figure that part out, and then get legal advice on the immigration side as well. I came up K2 and my mother K1, but have problems getting my 10-year green card and file citizenship. Call and schedule an appointment. Let's talk. All right, so here I am now. I'm on YouTube. I'm going to answer some questions here. Hi there. Good afternoon. Good day. I would like to find out, is there a difference between F11 and F1, or are one of the same? I just want to have some clarification. So F11, I'm not sure. So there's F1, I'm not sure what you're referring to. There's F1 student visa, and then there's the category for family-based immigration. So you have to be a little more specific there. Hi, an entrance with advanced parole from adjusting status with VAWA pending is considered an admission. Yes, so it is considered an admission. Yes, absolutely. How long does it take for a visa number to generate? So they update it month to month. And so we usually find out month to month. Sometimes it doesn't move at all though. My I-130 approved. Is there an expiration date on the I-130? So there's not an expiration date on the I-130. Can you assist with my status adjustment? I have an advanced parole. You can always give us a call. Let's start with a consultation, and then I can find out your facts and determine whether I can help you. So I'm an F1 student and it's my final semester, but my sponsors can't pay my tuition. What steps can I take to finish the school? So, unfortunately, that's not an immigration issue. And it's usually an issue that has to be worked out with the school. So you have to make sure you're meeting with your DSO to explain what the problem is, so that if they can assist you with anything at all to help you to finish the school, that they can advise you on that. But on the immigration side, I wouldn't be able to give you any kind of advice, except that if you're not able, if the school then withdraws your CVIS, that's like your student account, then it means that you will be out of status. So you want to make sure you talk to your DSO to let them know what's going on and to be able to come up with a solution. I'm on a visiting visa and I just got married. Do I have to extend my visa? Um, you should schedule an appointment because it's going to depend. So you just got married, but who did you get married to? A US citizen or a permanent resident? What are your goals for the future? Um, do you want to stay here and get the green card? Do you want to travel back and forth? So this is where it's very important to schedule an appointment to talk about those follow-up actions. Good morning. Can someone on asylum pending since 2016 file for VAWA after being robbed by breaking one's car? The person has a police report. So VAWA isn't for victims of crime, but it is so the U visa is for victims of crime. In this case, one of the requirements of the EU visa is that you do experience a type of victimization that resulted in your physical or mental abuse. So we'd have to get the facts here to determine whether it would meet that requirement as well. Should I be worried if 18 months has passed and my RFE was not updated by the USCIS? This is where it's very important to make sure you have proof of delivery, proof, because sometimes they don't update the fact that they received the RFE. So the proof of delivery can give you some reassurance to know that you submitted your RFE. Okay, I'm just. All right. Good morning. Is it possible for someone who's a citizen parent petition for them, and is the state able to obtain a work permit? So it depends. If the person is under 21 and unmarried, then they can go through their parents. Hi there on Instagram. So sorry we got interrupted. If the parent is under 21, I mean, the child is under 21, they can qualify through the US citizen parent. If they're over 21, then it's not going to happen while they're here, and getting a work permit is probably not going to be a possibility. I have no landing. Can my son, who is 21, still file for me? So, great question. Unfortunately, if you came into the country without inspection, I'm thinking that's what the no landing means, then it means that you are not going to go through the regular adjustment of status process. You have to apply for a type of special waiver to get forgiveness, go to your home country to attend the interview, and then come back with the immigrant visa. So it's a different type of process. Now, if and this doesn't just necessarily apply to you, but say if your 21-year-old was mistreating you and you needed to apply for FAWA, then in that case, you can stay here and apply for the green card, even if you have no proof that you entered with inspection. I have gone for biometrics myself, but still my clock is not reading. Can I qualify for the work permit? So you need to look into that, to why it is not moving forward. How long does it take to get green card in America if you go beyond and married on your contract? So schedule an appointment. So I'm not sure what contract you're talking about, but make sure you get legal advice. All right, that's gonna be it for me today. I see one more. I'm gonna answer one more here. How soon after receiving your green card can you leave the country? As soon as you get your green card, you can travel, but please do not overdo it by going out of the country for more than 6 months in a year, because it will affect your ability to get the green card. All right, so that's going to be it for me. Thanks so much, everyone, for your time. I will be back tomorrow at around lunchtime, so look out for me there, and I can address any questions that have not been answered here. I can look out for your questions again and answer them. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.